Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. Moving in the same direction and doing it united, then the movement forward is always so much more powerful.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. It's the 77 WABC News Hour. Talking the news with Noam Laden. All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now, Talking the News with Noam on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 3rd. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sunshine today, cold, the high 39. Tonight and overnight, clear, low 33, and then Thursday we'll do it all over again. Sun and clouds, high 40. If you're walking out the door with us right now, it's 29 and clear in Muncie up in Rockland County, 30 clear in Basking Ridge over in New Jersey, and it's 32 and clear right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
Mayor Adams, Mayor-elect Mamdani finally meet. Jim McGreevey's political comeback ended last night. Cops need your help finding the creep who tied up a senior. Doctors say this is already a really bad flu season. A Queens teen tells us how incredible News Hour listeners really are. Well, I already knew that already. 5:01, let's get into it. James Solomon elected mayor of Jersey City last night, ending former New Jersey Governor Jim McGreevey's bid for a political comeback. Solomon, a city council member in Jersey City since 2017, he easily defeated McGreevey in this runoff after they finished first and second in the general election last month. There were 7 candidates. Nobody got 50%. That's why you had the runoff here with Solomon last night.
And so I say tonight, that affordable Jersey City starts now. What I'm asking for you tonight is not your ongoing support or fealty. What I'm asking for you, most importantly, is to hold us accountable.
Seems like James Solomon might need a better microphone over at his campaign headquarters. Maybe it's better over at Jim McGreevey's headquarters, where there was a party last night as well. Of course, it wasn't for a victory.
I congratulate Councilman, now Mayor-elect James Solomon. Can we give him a round of applause?
McGreevey had pledged and now will pledge to work with Solomon, saying the city split between families who planted roots here generations ago and many new residents that are coming from places like the city, moving into newer housing.
You see a natural tension there. So I think the challenge is going to bring everybody together and understand that we have a shared responsibility to each other on education, on safe and clean streets, on policing, and those issues that make a difference in people's lives.
You know, it ended up not even really being close last night. Solomon, 19,000 votes to McGreevey's 9,000 votes. I mean, that's a blowout. The Jersey City race, of course, just gained national attention because Jim McGreevey, you'll remember he declared he was a gay American back in 2004 when he resigned as governor of New Jersey. So that made this race interesting nationally. The current mayor, Stephen Fulop, he made an unsuccessful bid for governor and decided not to seek a 4th term. And then right next door in Hoboken, City Councilwoman Emily Jabor winning last night, beating Michael Russo in a runoff for election for Hoboken mayor. There was one other interesting race that everybody was kind of following across the country. This was the one down in Tennessee where it looked, the Democrats thought they might pull off an upset in a district where President Trump had won by like 22 points on election night last November. But down in Tennessee, Republican Matt Van Epps won the special House election last night.
To President Donald J. Trump, thank you, sir. Your endorsement made the difference, and I will never forget it.
He beat Democrat Afton Bain, dashing hopes of this larger blue wave that started last month in November. President Trump won the state's congressional district there by 22 points, so they were worried that they were going to lose this thing. So in the end, last couple of weeks, Republicans pumped all kinds of money into this race. So did the Democrats, for that matter.
Tonight, you've sent a message loud and clear. The people of Middle Tennessee stand with President Donald J. Trump. To those who didn't support us in this election, I still work for you. I'll work hard to serve you with honesty and integrity every day.
Okay, so the results boost the GOP majority in the House. It's now 220 to 213. The election was some good news, of course, after November, where Democrats swept key races in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York. There was a big powwow at Gracie Mansion yesterday. Finally, Mayor-elect Mamdani met Mayor Adams.
New York City's current mayor, Eric Adams, and Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani held a successful meeting on Tuesday to discuss takeover plans.
There are good things that this administration has done. I think these are the two examples on City of Yes and containerization. And I also have appreciated the work that Commissioner Tisch has done in reducing crime across the 5 boroughs, and that's a critical part of why I decided to retain her.
Mamdani will be taking the baton from Adams come January, and the two met to turn over documents and discuss various programs. Lisa Ritchie, 77 WABC News.
The first winter storm of the season dropped some snow in northwestern New Jersey, but ended up not being as bad as initially predicted. It was Governor Phil Murphy who declared an emergency in a couple of different northwestern counties, including Passaic. Yesterday, they did get snow, but just not a lot of it. It wasn't 5 or 6 inches, which was what the original prediction was.
We're not going to be snowed in for days.
Yeah.
The worst is snowed in for a couple hours, maybe.
Yes, so lots of people in Ringwood, that's in Passaic County, grateful for the preparation. They say the salting of the roadways, that helped get around yesterday.
They're very good at getting the roads salted and all.
Now, there is an issue this morning because it rained all day, most places yesterday, and some of that is frozen over. So there are some slick spots out there, especially if you're places like northwestern New Jersey, up in the Hudson Valley. But even in the immediate areas of the city, there are some slick roads. So if you're out there this morning, you definitely want to take your time getting around. A temporary court win for states pushing back on cuts to Planned Parenthood.
A federal judge Tuesday issued a preliminary injunction blocking enforcement of a clause in the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, stopping Medicaid funds going to groups that perform abortions like Planned Parenthood. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania are among the 22 states in the suit. New York Attorney General Letitia James says the state objects, not just because of the services Planned Parenthood provides, but also because they're a core part of New York's and other states' Medicaid provider networks. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
WABC News Time 5:08. Let's go down to D.C., where the man accused of killing one National Guard member, injuring another in a shooting in D.C. last week, formally charged with murder yesterday. Here's United States Attorney for Washington, D.C., Janine Pirro.
The crime is one that we believe we will be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Ron Manula Lacwanel appearing virtually before a judge yesterday from a hospital bed. He's recovering from gunshot wounds suffered during the incident last week. He was covered in a blanket, lying down in bed during this appearance, charged with assault with the intent to kill, possession of a firearm during a crime of violence.
This is an individual about whom we don't know a lot, but we will. Trust me.
He pled not guilty to those charges yesterday. The president says the first year of his return to office has been the most consequential in U.S. history. It was his final cabinet meeting of 2025 at the White House yesterday. He listed the work he says he's done for the American people.
It's a tremendous thing that's taking place. We have companies moving in from all over the world, from Mexico, from Canada, from Europe, from China.
President, focusing on economic achievements, once again said he made things more affordable in his first year in office, listing the higher price of eggs and gas before he got back to D.C.
We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and our country is wealthy again and secure again, and it's part of national security. But our prices now for energy, but for gasoline are really low. Electricity's coming down. And when that comes down, everything comes down.
The president also says he thinks more Americans are back at work now. The Trump administration threatening to withhold SNAP benefits from most Democrat-led states.
Several blue states have refused to give the feds data that includes the names and immigration status of food stamp recipients. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says that 29 Republican-led states have complied, but 21 other states have refused access. Those states include California, New York, and Minnesota. Rollins says her department wants the data to root out fraud. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Republicans pressing forward with legislation that would add a citizenship question now to the census. It is opposed by Democrats like California Congressman Robert Garcia, who calls it unconstitutional.
This question will destroy the accuracy of the census and devastate numerous communities across the country.
But the GOP says the citizenship question is needed to get an accurate count of those in the country illegally. They say changes would also ensure equal representation in Congress. But Congressman Garcia, the Democrat, says the question will destroy the accuracy of the count.
Non-citizens will avoid answering the census, leading to undercounts across the country. Undercount means loss of federal funding for vital programs like schools and health care, diminished political representation, and inaccurate data for urban planning.
Yeah, Democrats have been pushing back, saying people will be hesitant to answer the census if that question is on there. President Trump, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, continue to defend the strike allegedly targeting survivors on a suspected Venezuelan drug boat.
All I know is this: every boat that you see get blown up, we save 25,000 on average lives. 25,000 lives.
Both were asked about the Washington Post report that Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley directed a second strike to comply with Hegseth's order that no one be left alive. Hegseth said he did not know the second strike involved 2 people, but he says he backs Bailey's decision.
We're saving hundreds of thousands of lives with those pinpoint attacks. It's an amazing thing.
As I've said, and I'll say again, we've only just begun striking narco boats and putting narco terrorists at the bottom of the ocean because they've been poisoning the American people. We know who's on it, what they're doing, what they're carrying. All these white bales are not Christmas gifts from Santa. This is drugs running on 4-motor fast boats or submarines that we've also struck. No one's fishing on a submarine.
That story not going to end, though, there. Navy Admiral Frank Mitch Bradley, he's going to have to brief lawmakers on the incident sometime soon. 5:13, Pope Leo, he wrapped up his first overseas trip since being elected pontiff. Correspondent Claudio Lavanga reports that on his last day in Lebanon, which was yesterday, Leo celebrated a mass at the Beirut waterfront that was attended by just thousands of people.
Earlier in the day, he visited the site of the massive explosion in 2020, which killed more than 200 people and injured thousands more, and he offered a silent prayer there. On his last day in Lebanon and in the region, Pope Leo held Mass in front of tens of thousands of people, and he told them not to resign themselves, despite the fact, he said, that they've been witnesses and victims of how evil, he said, can obscure this beautiful land.
Yeah, I can't remember. Can you remember a pontiff visiting Lebanon anytime recently? Of course, that country has been in turmoil for so many decades.
Just like the hope by many Lebanese that anybody will ever be found accountable. Now they hope that the silent prayer by the Pope will also break the silence of those in charge of bringing upon justice for the many people who died and suffered.
Yeah, there was a civil war that just lasted for so long there. 5:14, let's bring it back home. Costco suing the Trump administration now. Mitch McCann reports the warehouse chain wants refunds for the tariffs it's paid on imported items under the International Emergency Powers Act.
The complaint, which was filed in the U.S. Court of International Trade, argues that the president misused the law when implementing his sweeping tariffs and states that it's Congress, not the White House, that has the authority to implement tariffs.
Now, Costco does not say in this filing how much it's looking to recover. Other companies have also filed legal challenges against the tariffs, including Revlon, Kawasaki, Bumblebee Tuna.
The cosmetics company Revlon, the Japanese auto manufacturer Kawasaki, and others have taken similar action. Costco has not revealed how much import duties have cost its business, but importers have paid nearly $90 $20 billion under the law that Mr. Trump used to implement the policy. The Supreme Court is set to rule on the legality of the tariff regime, with some justices expressing skepticism during recent arguments.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait for that Supreme Court ruling. In a moment, we'll tell you about these savings accounts that are being set up for children and who's behind them. We'll do that in just a moment, for all American children, by the way. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Happy Hump Day. Good morning, Justin Ellick.
Happy Hump Day. Good morning to you, Noam Layden. Start here on the hardwood in Boston. The Knicks fell in a tight one to the Celtics. Final score 123-117 in a rematch of last season's Eastern Conference semifinal. Mikal Bridges scored 17 of his 35 points in the fourth and went 8 for 12 from three-point range overall. Karl Anthony Towns added 29 for the Knicks, who had won 4 in a row up until last night. The Knicks took off to a 17-4 lead and led 39-25 before Boston scored the next 12 points and later scored 7 in a row, taking a 47-46 lead on a Jaylen Brown dunk that woke up the crowd. Up next for the Knicks, they're back at home tonight to host the Charlotte Hornets in what will be a 7:30 p.m. tip-off from MSG. Also tonight, the Nets, they're back in action. They'll be out in Chicago against the Bulls. That's an 8 p.m. start there. Head to the ice at the Garden. Vladislav Gavrikov scored just over a minute into overtime, and the Rangers beat the Dallas Stars 3-2. Carson Soucy and Will Cooley also scored for the Rangers, who have won 4 of their last 5 games. Artemi Panarin added 2 assists. Mika Zibanejad's assist on the overtime goal extended his point streak with 2 goals and 3 assists to 4 games. Igor Shesterkin made 23 saves in the win for the Rangers. Up next for them, they'll visit the Senators in Ottawa tomorrow night. In Elmont, Bo Horvat and Anthony Duclair scored to lead the Islanders past the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1. Ilya Sorokin made 28 saves for his 8th win of the season as the Isles snapped a 3-game skid. Up next for the Islanders, they'll host the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow night. And tonight on the ice, the Devils, they'll return to action at home in Jersey and will welcome in the Dallas Stars for a 7 p.m. puck drop. That is your Sports Now, man. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:18. President Trump announcing his so-called Trump Accounts Savings Initiative for Children.
This afternoon, Michael and Susan Dell are committing to one of the largest private donations in American history.
Yeah, we're going to tell you about the Dells in a moment. Let me tell you about this plan. The president says every American child born during his second term will receive $1,000 government deposit to help start their account. So think of it like as a IRA for kids, which is a great idea.
Trump accounts will be the first, I guess you could say, real trust funds for every American child, allowing family members, employers, corporations, generous donors to contribute money that will be invested and grow over the course of a child's life.
Yeah, so now when you get to the point where you need to buy a house or pay for college, there will be money for that.
These accounts will track the overall stock market and will be 100% private property controlled by the child's guardians.
Yes, so let me tell you about these Texas billionaires. Michael Dell and his wife, Susan, they are the ones who are pumping the big bucks into these investment accounts for at least 25 million American children. They made the announcement in a video post to social media yesterday.
We've seen what happens when a child gets even a small financial head start. Their world expands.
So the pair pledged to donate more than $6 billion to seed what are called these Trump accounts.
We can make possibility something every child can count on. We're making a $6.25 billion investment in America's kids.
Yeah, so big by the Dells. They say the goal is to give more people a financial foundation that can be used for college, job training, or even home ownership. 5:20, vaccine advisors working under Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. poised now to vote on potentially ending the practice of vaccinating newborns for hepatitis B.
The Washington Post says the federal advisors also plan to examine whether the childhood shots are behind the increase in allergies and autoimmune disorders. They'll be meeting on Thursday and Friday and reportedly plan to vote on ending the recommendation to vaccinate all babies for hepatitis B within 24 hours of birth. A recent study found the birth dose was responsible for a 99% drop in childhood infections.
I'm Tammy Trujillo.
WABC News Time 521 down in Florida. The Miami-Dade College Board of Trustees has unanimously revoted in favor of a land transfer for the President Trump Presidential Library. Amid this ongoing legal battle, of course, you have the people on one side who love the president, want the library in this area because it'll bring in tourism. And then you have the people who do not like the president, say he should not get this land for free, be gifted to him. There's this back and forth battle that's gone on. They've tried to put legal hurdles in the way.
This donation of land would be a travesty, a slap in the face to our beautiful nation of immigrants.
Yeah, one activist sued to try to stop this. There's the Sunshine State laws. They say it violated those.
Opposing this library is not opposing President Trump. It's opposing preservation.
There is absolutely no guarantee that the land will be used to build a presidential library. All that is required is to build a component of a presidential library, whatever that means.
So a Miami judge has already blocked the land transfer before the issue goes to court, which won't be until next summer. Supporters say the library would enhance education and tourism opportunities in that part of Miami. 522, the unofficial start of the holiday shopping season, proving to be pretty successful. MasterCard shows a 4% increase in spending this Black Friday compared to last year, with retailers racking in nearly $12 billion in online sales just on last Friday alone. Now, not everybody's taking part. Some people are waiting for the better deals to come along.
The Black Friday, it used to be really 50%, really 60%. Now you only see 30, 40s.
Ridiculous. It's not worth it anymore. It's not what it used to be years ago. Those were sales, not now.
Yeah, right. Remember those days where people would get in line at the stores, camp out overnight to get a good deal? Those people saying those aren't around anymore. I don't know if that's really true, but the National Retail Federation projects a record $1 trillion in holiday spending this year. That's up from $976 billion last year. So that's all of what's going on.
For a long time, we've had this whole idea of experiences over the holidays and finding ways to do stuff without buying more stuff. I think that's still very alive and well, but at this point, travel is so expensive, I might as well buy my dad a new screwdriver.
Okay, I remember when I was a street reporter, I would work Black Friday, and you'd have to be out like 3 or 4 in the morning with these crowds outside the mall or outside like a Home Depot where they were having some incredible sale for the first 50 people that got in, and they were the most crazy people on the planet. Granted, maybe they were saving a couple $100, but they'd be intense. They'd have coffee. All that's pretty much gone. You don't see that anymore.
Maybe 2 weeks before Christmas. Or next week. I had to get everything done by December 10.
My family and I just give each other money, so we don't really shop.
That's what anybody wants, right? Don't have cash. I don't know. My kids like cash. Car buyers say car prices are just way too high right now.
Car buyers are downsizing, buying used cars, taking on longer loans, or just holding out for deals. A New Rochelle dealership manager tells the Wall Street Journal traffic to their website and showroom are both down. A customer who decided not to buy a second car says eventually a dealer called and took $5,000 off the price of a new Hyundai. The Journal says prices will not plunge, but Cox Automotive says dealers may have to, quote, put some more money on the hood to get sales. Joe Connolly, 77 WABC News.
WABC News Time 525. A New Zealand man is facing theft charges after allegedly swallowing a Fabergé egg locket that was worth about $20,000.
The man was arrested late last week at a jewelry store in Auckland after police say he ingested the locket, which was set with 60 diamonds and 15 blue sapphires and contained an 18-karat gold octopus. The suspect is in custody while authorities wait to recover the piece. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Can you imagine being allergic to a Christmas tree? Apparently this is a big deal. A doctor raising awareness to allergies related to Christmas trees that cause people to get sick. Dr. Don Von Preston, he's with the Cleveland Clinic, recommends that people shake and wipe down artificial trees and real ones to reduce the allergens that are hiding in the branches. Now, apparently it's the fake ones that are causing more of the allergies than the real ones.
There's weed pollen, mold,
critters that are in trees. So when you bring that into the home, unless you fully shake it out, wash it off, clean it, then you have the high potential to release mold and other pollens into your home.
I haven't heard of this before, but I guess there's a lot of people who are allergic to them. So he suggests running an air purifier near the tree. That can help. He recommends taking the tree, of course, right down after the season's over, so mold doesn't grow.
The longer you keep it in the home, the longer the mold has to grow and release more spores. So I tend to recommend that once the season's over, get rid of your trees somewhat immediately.
Okay. 526. A new study says raccoons that live near humans are continuing to show signs of domestication.
A rocky raccoon checked into his room.
The research, published in Frontiers in Zoology, analyzed around 20,000 photos of raccoons from across the U.S. The scientists, led by a University of Arkansas at Little Rock researcher, found that raccoons in urban areas have shorter snouts than rural-based ones. Shorter snout length is a physical trait which is tied to domestication syndrome. The physical changes usually come as the animals become more gentle, tolerant, and less aggressive toward humans. I'm Mark Mayfield.
527 now. Traffic, transit on the 7s. Here's Joe Nolan.
Raccoons laugh at you when you tell them to get off of the garbage can now. They really do.
In your neighborhood?
Oh, yeah. Where I used to live in Mountainside. Oh, forget it. They were there all the time. We used to have to take and put a cement brick on top of the garbage can to keep them from getting in it.
And do they have hands, essentially?
Yeah,
so
they do have hands.
So they could pull that. I've seen pictures of them where they have these that are supposed to be raccoon-proof trash cans, and they're yanking the lids off of them.
Yeah, no, there's no such thing. But that's why we just put a big cement block on top of it, and that kept them from opening up. It was too heavy for them.
Huh.
But they'd look at you like, get out of here, and they're looking, okay, fine.
Soon they're going to be pets.
Yeah.
Right? That's the prediction, is that...
Really?
Yeah. Dogs, cats, next are raccoons, yeah.
Wow.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam.
On 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 3rd, which, by the way, I should point out is my birthday. So should I sing happy birthday to myself, or is that just really completely pathetic? Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Now, there's something really pathetic about a grown man singing happy birthday to himself at 5:37 in the morning. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Sunshine today. It's going to be cold, high 39. Tonight and overnight clear, low 33. And then Thursday, sun and clouds, much of the same, high 40. If you're walking out the door with us right now, 29 clear in Muncie up in Rockland County. It's 30 and clear in Basking Ridge over in New Jersey. And it's 32 and clear right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 5:39. Flu cases spiking across the tri-state. In New York alone, there have already been more than 17,000 cases, nearly 1,000 hospitalizations, and doctors anticipate it's only going to get worse as people gather for holiday parties. This pharmacist in Queens cannot keep the drug flu, Tamiflu, in stock. It just flying off, well, it's not off the shelves, but from behind the pharmacist's desk.
We've been filling maybe Tamiflu, a lot of antibiotics lately, especially from the urgent cares.
Now, according to New York's flu tracker, 7,765 cases statewide the week ending November 22nd. That was before Thanksgiving. Everybody's sitting at the same table. That's a 117% increase from the prior week. So doctors are worried because they say this is going to get worse, and they anticipate maybe one of the worst seasons in a while.
People get together, and guess what? One person have it, everybody will.
It's a very serious infection. It's not the cold, and even under the best of circumstances, it will zap your energy, make you miserable, and it takes weeks to recover.
Now, it's the H3N2 strain that's dominating. The flu vaccine was developed before this new subclade K variant emerged, so it won't cover you for that. Now, we'll cover you for a whole bunch of other stuff, so doctors are saying still makes sense to get the flu shot.
That doesn't mean the vaccine is not effective, but it's not a perfect match. So the combination of low vaccination rates in the community and a new strain that's not a perfect match sets the stage for a potentially very bad flu season.
Now, if you're one of these people who's hesitant about getting the flu shot, the thought is the flu season runs through April, so it's not like you're getting it too late. It's just plenty of time.
There's also other things that are going around. We still have rhinovirus and RSV increasing, but certainly flu has been increasing, particularly in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, CDC saying they've also seen the same thing, and they say flu activity typically peaks between December and February. And it's time to mask up now at some hospitals in New Jersey. They see what's going on.
As winter viruses spread for COVID, flu, and RSV, mask mandates are back at Hackensack Meridian Health and RWJ Barnabas Health. The mandates include wearing masks for patients leaving their rooms, for people coming in to visit, and for employees who provide direct care to patients. Cases of COVID, flu, and RSV are expected to rise due to holiday gatherings and cold weather that drives people indoors where germs can easily spread. Lisa G., 77 WABC News.
WABC News Time 5:42. Can you believe that Mayor Adams and Mayor-elect Mamdani had not met until yesterday, post-election? And normally you meet first 48, 72 hours. Mayor went on that trip to Uzbekistan and Israel right after Election Day and made it clear he was not a Zoran Mamdani fan. But the two seemed to get along very well yesterday at Gracie Mansion, having their meeting together.
We want to show the incoming mayor what we've done, how we brought down crime, how we built more housing than any other mayor in the history of the city.
Mayor Adams preparing to pass that baton to Mamdani when he becomes the mayor on January 1. Adams says he's going to turn over documents to show what his administration has accomplished to allow Mayor-elect Mamdani to determine what projects and programming he will continue. Now, he's already let go more than 100 of Adams' employees, saying, the job's not yours anymore. We're going to put our own people in.
All the things we've done, I want him to continue that success. And I think the best level of appreciation is duplication. And I think they're going to duplicate a lot of things that we've done.
Yeah, they seem to pal around. At least yesterday, everything seemed to be okay. Over in Jersey City, there was a special election last night, a runoff after nobody got 50% on election night in the race for mayor there. And this was, the story here was maybe the comeback of Jim McGreevey, the former New Jersey governor who left office back in 2004 after admitting having an affair with a male staffer. Then he had that famed speech, "I'm a gay American." It did not work out for him last night. The race was called less than an hour after the polls closed. It was an easy win for local city councilman James Solomon, who won the race last night.
Now the mission is clear. The work begins tonight. And the work that we have to do is making Jersey City affordable. And so I say tonight, an affordable Jersey City starts now.
Yeah, so his race sounded a lot like Zoran Mamdani's, talking about high rent, capping rents, talking about making it more affordable to live in Jersey City, where the rents are, if not the same, maybe even a little higher than New York City. So last night, McGreevey, he was gracious in defeat.
You see a natural tension there, so I think the challenge is...
so I should point out that he said he warned the incoming mayor, Solomon, that there's this problem between the old school Jersey City people who've been there forever and the new people, and he says he should watch out for that.
You see a natural tension there, so I think the challenge is going to bring everybody together and understand that we have a shared responsibility to each other on education, on safe and clean streets, on policing, and those issues that make a difference in people's lives.
McGreevey was asked last night, are you going to run for office again? And he shook his head. He said, not ever going to happen again. And Meredith Burns, that was the city council member at large. Her mom is a big fan of the NewsHour. We were trying to get her across the finish line. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. 5:45. Let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, and here's Justin Ellick.
Hey, Noam. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wow. I had no idea.
How did you know?
I got a Facebook notification this morning.
I thought you heard me singing to myself about 6 minutes ago.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had no idea until 6 minutes ago.
Okay.
So, how old are you today, Noam?
I'm old.
You want to tell every single listener out there that's...
I'm an old man.
You want to tell them, like, millions of people that are listening to your early news program? How old you are today? No, you don't have to do it.
Okay.
All right, I can tell you don't
I'm
want
not ashamed of it. I'm just, I'm old.
No, I mean, how much do you weigh?
165, I think.
Those are your first two questions on a first date there. Okay. How old are you?
Do they really do that? People ask you your weight on dates?
No, of course not. But, I mean, it's much more acceptable in today's society to ask a man that question than a woman, obviously.
Oh, well, that's always been the case.
You ask a woman that question on our first date, you're getting a drink thrown in your face.
Yeah, there's not date number 2.
Exactly. Hoorah! Hoorah! Happy birthday, Noam. Very good stuff.
Thank you.
We'll start on the hardwood here in Boston. The Knicks fell in a tight one to the Celtics. Final score 123-117 in a rematch of last season's Eastern Conference semifinal. Up next for the Knicks, they're back at home tonight to host the Charlotte Hornets in what will be a 7:30 p.m. tip-off from MSG. Also tonight, the Nets, they're back in action out in Chicago against the Bulls. That's an 8 p.m. start there. To the ice at the Garden, Vladislav Gavrikov scored just over a minute into overtime, and the Rangers beat the Dallas Stars 3-2. Up next for them, they'll visit the Senators in Ottawa tomorrow night in Elmont. Paul Horvat and Anthony Duclair scored to lead the Islanders past the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-1. Up next for the Owls, they'll host the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow night. And on the ice tonight, the Devils, they'll return to action at home in Jersey, and they will host the aforementioned Dallas Stars for a 7 p.m. puck drop. That is your sports, Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:49. No doubt over the summer you noticed how high your electric bills were if you were running the air conditioning, and it continues. The heating bills are going to be high this season as well. Con Ed, they want a rate increase. It could not come at a worse time. The people say, hey, people, just average everyday people, New Yorkers, New Jersey, no matter where you are, you're saying we're already paying enough. In fact, a city comptroller report finds nearly 1 in 3 New Yorkers is worried about paying the energy bill, just struggling to pay those bills every month.
That's not something that 30% of New Yorkers should have to choose between keeping the lights on or a doctor's visit.
That's where this money is going, to fill someone's pockets.
So to Con Ed's credit, and they probably wouldn't have gotten this passed, so that has something to do with it, they've scaled back what would have been a double-digit hike. The proposed increase is 2.8% for electricity, 2% for gas. The rate proposal now heads to the Public Service Commission as New Yorkers complain. We just can't afford to pay the bills.
In a city that's already unaffordable to live, any more cost to any everyday New Yorkers is still too much.
Yeah, so this latest proposal from Con Ed, they have to wait to see if the Public Service Commission will sign off on it. NYPD cops, they really need your help finding 3 men accused of following a 63-year-old man into his apartment in the Mott Haven section of the Bronx, tying him up with zip ties, pistol whipping him, and then robbing him. Angelique Shannon, she lives in this NYCHA building where this robbery took place. This is East 143rd Street. And she says, unfortunately, this seems to be the new thing.
That's so sad. This is the holidays. Come on now. All of this killing and robbing and stealing from people. You can't do nothing without feeling like, danger is knocking at your door.
Now, this attack happened last week. The reason we're finding out about it now is the NYPD thought they'd be able to find these 3 people on their own. Unfortunately, they haven't, so they've released pictures of them, and we put them up at WABCRadio.com. The thieves stole the victim's jewelry, cell phone, credit cards, cash, all while he was zip-tied up. When he was finally able to get free, he was taken to Lincoln Hospital. He's now recovering at home.
It's awful, and I've been hearing a lot of stories about elderly people being attacked, and there's no one to turn to.
Well, the only thing I'm surprised that the people put in charge are not doing their job.
Yes, so some neighbors complaining that police need to do more patrols in that building. Of course, cops urging anybody who recognizes those 3 to give Crime Stoppers a call. A man's been arrested after he was seen in this video. Maybe you saw this attack. It was a random attack of an NYU student who was on her way to class this week. It happened Monday morning. The 20-year-old victim was walking down the street when this man just walks up behind her. He pulls her hair, slaps her head and buttocks, then shoves her to the ground. Now, there are all kinds of people around at this time, and this is the middle of the day. Bystanders watched in shock before a group of women behind her stopped to help this woman. Now, this guy got away, but police have done good work, and they were able to catch up with them.
I saw the video as well, which was scary and very disturbing. It's definitely something to be more on the lookout, especially if it was exact same route that I would take. So it was very scary.
Yeah, that's an NYU student. Police say they arrested 45-year-old James Rizzo yesterday, charged him with sex abuse, forcible touching, assault. They say they were called to a man building for something else, and then that's when they happened upon this individual who was connected to the crime. They didn't give us a whole lot more, but we saw him in handcuffs last night, which NYU students were happy about.
I've always been concerned about safety a little bit, but definitely seeing something happen like that, it brings it to my concern more.
I'm already always looking over my shoulder when I'm walking down the street.
Now, I should point out this attack was completely random. No connection between this individual and the woman. He did not know her. He just shoved her to the ground, pulled her hair, touched her inappropriately. NYU last night putting out a statement thanking the NYPD for its work and saying it was offering support to that student who was attacked.
My heart goes out to her because it's not only scary, it's disturbing, it's humiliating, but I just wish her, healing. And
investigators now trying to determine if Rizzo is responsible for other random attacks on female students at NYU. I'll put my money down that he is. 5:54. A report from the Citizens Budget Commission is analyzing MTA data that estimates this year the city lost about $1 billion to fare evasion. $1 billion. So they're trying to figure out any which way to stop this fare evasion. A majority of it happens on the buses, but it also happens down below on the subways as well. So the MTA's been trying out all these different fare gates to stop people from either going underneath or going above the turnstile. So one of the ones they're using is these glass shields. Maybe you've seen them. Just started trying them out. The latest place they've installed them for this pilot program is at the Atlantic Avenue Barclays station. That's where the Barclays Center is. So they have lots of people walking in and out. So think the glass is so high you can't jump it. It's glass doors where you pay your fare, or you put your phone, whatever, and pay the fare. The glass doors open. That's your only way in and out. So some people who say, hey, if I pay the fare every day, I'm good with these glass doors.
The bad behavior needs to stop. So I don't think there's a point, and I feel like it's just going to cause more damage with people breaking the glass.
Okay, so that could be a problem, though I don't think it would be that easy to break the glass. And then, of course, because it's New York, there's always people who are going to find a reason to complain. So here they are trying to figure out a way to stop fare evasion. And this woman's saying, I don't like this because these glass doors might slow me down.
It's not fair to the rest of us that follow the rules that once again there's going to be a harder thing that we have to get through in order for us to get on the train. Even just now, I just missed my train by 30 seconds. If the glass partitions were up there opening and closing per person, more people would be missing their trains.
Yeah, no matter what they do, there's always somebody who's going to complain. I saw these. This looks like a pretty good system. It's going to cost a lot of money. The MTA says by the end of 2029, 150 stations will have these glass gates. And let's finish with this holiday porch pirate story. Congressman Josh Gottheimer trying to stiffen penalties for those who get arrested by introducing legislation called the Porch Pirates Act. So apparently, if you steal a package that's from the post office, there are laws in places in effect that would slap you with fines or jail time for doing so, because it's like stealing federal property. But that doesn't hold true for UPS or Amazon or FedEx, so he wants it to cover that. So he introduced this idea, the Porch Pirate Act.
Right now, only the U.S. mail handled by the United States Postal Service, is federally protected. So stealing a USPS package has particularly harsh penalties. Penalties that packages delivered by UPS or Amazon, FedEx, or DHL don't have.
Of course, this is Porch Pirates' favorite time of year because packages show up at the house. I mean, my house, I feel like it's every day there's something showing up. So they would carry fines of $250,000 up to 10 years in prison for people who continually do this kind of thing. The cops say, okay, it's going to be a while till this bill's passed. It's not really even sure if that would work to deter people who do this kind of thing. But they say the easiest thing you can do is set up like a doorbell camera or just brightly light up your porch or wherever people deliver packages.
So what I always say is between cameras, lights, and just making sure that it's kind of an open area that everybody can see, those are the easiest, most low-hanging fruit of how to make your home a little less targeted.
Or you can have your packages delivered to work. That seems to work, or to one of those places that have the lockers.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Payne Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.